Hi, this is Borb, and I would like to show you my new multi-item shulker-based sorting system. So what you see here are my shulker boxes with items in there and various unsorted stuff up here. So what it will do is it will sort each of these items into the respective shulker box, whereas each shulker box can have more than one item. For example, this one has already multiple items in there. So this is, I think, quite unique from what I've seen on the internet. So the most storage systems are still either using regular chests, taking away all the nice mobility, for example, just running away with this fully packed shulker box, or they are basically using shulker boxes, but then they just allow one item at a time. Yeah, so I think this is quite unique and makes it quite special. So what you've seen as well is how it sorts is that also every slot of each of the shulker box has to be filled. This is basically based on a design by Tangotech, I've seen at least. Probably other people have done it as well. So each slot within each shulker box has to be filled for it to work. The system can handle up to 54 shulker boxes, so one double chest of shulker boxes. It is put into modules. Each module can handle 18 2 rows of shulker boxes. I built the full one, so it could do the whole 54 one. But if you only have, like, let's say 20 or something, then maybe 2 modules are enough for you already. I will put a download as well for the world and put it into the description below. And also afterwards in the video I will do a step-by-step instruction. But now let's run the show. So when you start the searching, it will drain off all your shulker boxes. It will also drain off all the unsorted items, and now it starts sorting. So after a while, the system should be done. Let's wait a little bit more, and then hopefully, there they are. The shulker boxes then come back into your chest, one after each other. Your input chest is basically empty, and then you have like a leftovers garbage chest, stuff which couldn't be sorted. This is over here. This looks okay as well. So you may have heard that that you didn't hear any noises. So the system itself is not silent, the core redstone. But what you can do very easily with that system, in comparison to other sorting system solutions, you can detach it from your room. For example, here you have like a room, and then you can put your redstone like 20 blocks away and or far underground, and you will hear nothing. And this is what I did basically here as well. The second note I would like to make is while it's sorting, all your shulker boxes are not there because they are in the sorting system. So you don't want to run the system for each individual piece of anything, but you want to do like bigger batches. So if you have like a half a chest full or a chest full, then it makes sense to run like a batch job and to sort your items. Don't do it just if you have one item only. Yeah, I think that's it basically, and then we can look at the redstone. Alright, let's have a look at the system itself. It is down here. Yeah, this is also one of the notes I would like to make is yeah, in comparison to regular storage systems, this one is more dense. You have more ongoing in small areas, and yeah, it brings some complexity with it. But yeah, I mean, I guess challenges are not bad. So everyone has to dry out a Guardian template at some point of time. So if you have built storage systems in the past, you can do it as well. This one here, I will as well, yeah, explain every section as well in the tutorial afterwards. Another note is here you can see I detached on the house or the mini house here where I use it versus where the machine is. You can't do that with every storage system. Sometimes these have to be kind of close to each other, but this one can allow it because we use shulker boxes, and this makes it as well yeah, not so noisy. And I mean, you could also build it down here, but then why would you do that? There's nothing to gain down here, so put it the redstone block far to the side or to the bottom into the ground, and you're fine. I think that's basically it. Then I would start with the tutorial itself. So I looked up the size. So it's 24 blocks in this direction. It is 17 blocks in this direction, and 22 blocks up to here basically. And this should basically cover all your redstone needs down here. Obviously, wherever you put your final destination, then of course you need more height or wideness. But yeah, up to here it's 22 blocks basically. This also I would consider here the ground level. For the full tutorial you see the sandstone down here, and then I put the respective blocks on top of it. I also suggest, if you build this, to yeah, make this area free and available already. Dig a nice hole, yeah, so you can place these pieces of redstone and blocks as well afterwards. So now we will start with this bottom part here. So we are on the white side, and yeah, we will build this here, which is basically just a signal coming from up, and this is typically locked. If that is off, the clock will be running and constantly pushing the pistons up. The pistons here are 5 blocks in between. This is important, and there are also 5 blocks in between, and the first piston is starting on the same height as the torch, and I will just build that over here now for you as well. I started already a bit, created a little bit of a mess. Anyhow, let's start. 1, 2. So these are 1, 2, 3, 6 blocks down here. Then we have 1, 2, 3 basically, and we need a comparator, and which is basically showing into that block with a torch, and this signal is basically coming back here into that comparator, and this should give us, if we turn off this torch, a nice comparator clock. Now we also take the signal out here, then we go this direction and this direction. Here we go with repeaters, always on 2 ticks for the pistons. Let's connect those, and here into the pistons, and here into that piston as well. So if you remove now the torch for a second, it should push the pistons up. I recommend also a glass block here to easily distinguish it between the other blocks and to see through if the piston tape is somehow stuck or not. Alright, let's put the torch back here. So the next step will be the various modules here, which we build up. I will build one for you. So we will start, as we have the position of the piston, we will go upwards, and let's do that for now. So what you will need to do is you place a redstone block on here and an unmovable block down here. Also, you want to have an unmovable block down here, and as you will take the signal out with the comparator from here, it's important that once here's like a block in between, that you have some items in here so the comparator can detect that container. So I put, I don't know, just some items in here. 1 is enough. So then we go down here. Basically, let's grab a little bit of redstone, and we basically bring the signal over with 2 ticks here. And here 2 ticks. Basically, this is what you can see here, directly into the next sticky piston. So basically in here. So this is basically pushing the block over here, and then this is pushing the block up. Speaking of, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks of any kind down here. And we will do the same up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and the same height basically, and that gives us this pillar. And I do that now for every of these modules. Alright, this is done. Just one little thing I forgot. You need to put in a glass block as well here, on that side as well, for that piston as well as you had it here. Okay, so what we will do now is we will place the dispensers that will place the various shulker boxes. We will start, so we give it 1 free row here, and then we will start placing them, 9 on each side, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is basically one module, 18 shulker boxes that can be handled with it. I will do it for each other module as well in a second, but then you come in here and plug in your hoppers. So next we will do this section up here, the top part. So we will take the comparator output from that, and we will have a container again with some items in there. Then we have basically the signal going up to that piston with 4 ticks delay, and it's going to down to this piston, whoops, with 2 ticks delay, and we have an additional dropper coming in here. That's basically what I will build now on this side. So what we said basically is we need to take the comparator output, which is here. We have a container on this side. It needs to have items in here so that when an item is placed here, it will detect it. Then we have go one up here, and we are here basically taking the output from here, and we need one dropper facing into that hopper here, and one dropper facing into that hopper. So you need to make like a little something like that, and make sure it's a dropper, make sure it faces this way. Okay. So we have 1 on 2 clicks here, and we need let me double check. How did we do it? Yeah, classic with a block in front of it. So what we have here is glass in front of it, and we have redstone going in here, and we have then we need to go up here and here as well with the redstone to push a block, which would be here normally, to push it down again with a sticky piston, glass block, and free space. So then we basically this is basically where your shulker boxes will go, and we need to load them from the top, these droppers. So you can put already here 2 hoppers in here, so we are able to load them later on. As you can see here, we have 2. That's basically it. Okay, then next we will do the initialization here. So on the very left module, we will take the output from here and run it into a monostable circuit with a 2-tick delay over here. So this is what we will do now. So when we have our we will come down here, and this will run into monostable circuit, and this will basically go in here with a 2-tick delay, and like that. So this will normally push, and that is what we can do next. The cauldron. Up. So when we do this and fill it with water, then you see already that the piston will start. And what this does is basically the piston pushes this up. Normally this goes totally around and comes back on the other side. And once it's down here again, it signals this, and this pushes the cauldron out of the way, and it stops the clock, because this is then when the initialization is done. So let's have a look why this is not yet working. This is, I mean, in principle okay. As I'm just playing around at the moment. Okay, so this comparator, we said we have 1 here with 2-tick delay, but we need also 1 here with 4-tick delay. So let's move that block out again and push that in. Okay, not yet. So this is also something, very good test, a partial test. So we can make now these parts of the system running and do the sorting later on when it's working. Okay, I found the error. So what I need to do is on this side we need to have an unmovable block, so the blocks are not pushed out here. In theory this block should never be needed, but yeah, every now and then while you build, then something gets pushed out, and this is not so nice. So let's push that up again for the hopper, and so this tape seems to be working now. I'll do the other parts now as well. So the next step will be that we build this down signaling. I mean, there are multiple ways of doing that. I decided for this piston approach here, which is quite robust. So we go 11 up, 11 plus the cauldron makes 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the 11th. Then I do a temporary block, and then another temporary block, another temporary block. So and we have a piston up here, and we can put any block up here, and also maybe put a button up here. So, and also maybe put button here. Okay, this is not correct. It needs to be 1 lower. Sorry for that. So this way I can push down and see if the system works. It will trigger it. It's also a very good test for you now. The start should always be the redstone block on the height of this container, All the containers here need to have something in here so the detectors can detect it. We need an air block here, so if that glass is here, it needs to be moved here. Then also we have 2 air blocks above these bone blocks here. Again, a container with something in it, timings 4 and 2 on each module. It's a proper test. If you want to do it a full test, you can also put in some shulker boxes in here. Let's do that actually. Let's get the green ones and or come down here, put that into the dropper. You can't do more than 9 on each of them. And let's fill that up, and then let's do a test run afterwards. Okay, so this is also some part which is a bit tricky. Some small things can be forgotten, can be a bit tedious, but let's see. Now the clock should start to run, and the piston should push slowly the red piece up here. Actually see if this is this is not deployed yet. Okay, and there's something missing. Okay, we'll find out. Okay, so this tape goes one time around, distributes the shulker boxes evenly, and then should also start deploying them. As you can see it here already, it seemed to have worked. Here for some reason not yet. Okay, this hopper is pointing in the wrong direction. It needs to point, of course, into this one. So there's small little mistakes you can do here in this part. Make sure it just works. I'll be back in a second and fix that. So I'm back. So basically what I've corrected was this one hopper, as well as what is required down here under this piston. We need to place one repeater. 1 tick is fine. So that the signal goes as well down to these hoppers. And then I can fill it again, and we retry the system. Okay, I filled up the droppers already again with 9 shulker boxes each, just to test the system. I also cleaned up the shulker boxes in front of the dispensers to test the system again, and we can signal down again to give it another try. So these should always go in parallel one time around until the redstone block is down here again, and then it should stop evenly. I already started as well on the next section. The next section will be basically that we take the comparator output from the droppers. Let's see if it works. So there it goes. It deploys again. Okay, here are still a lot of rubbish blocks in here. Need to see what's happening here. Okay, this. Okay, then we do the next section bits. Here you have seen that one on 1 tick behind. And now we will take the comparator outputs from the droppers and want to see if they are full. And for that we need redstone block in the middle, so it subtracts 15 here, and then we basically bring that signal upwards, like so. Slap, slap, and one more up. We have slab, slab, and slab, slab. And we have a sticky piston up here. And we bring that signal just up here. We don't need that middle block, just up here. I did that already for the other sections, yeah, just to complete it. So then we need packed ice in front of the sticky pistons. So this is basically where the shulker boxes will fall in, and they will flow over here, and this will be the horizontal then distribution of the shulker boxes, and then in each of those we will have up to 9 shulker boxes, and they will deal with the vertical distribution. As you've heard already, the piston noticed that it's complete and full. So if I put in 9 boxes here, the piston should trigger. There we go. And this will close the water stream here later on, and then the next ones, shulker box will flow in here, closes, flow in here, should closes, so it will be evenly distributed. Next up, in between I put in some packed ice as well, and this will basically be our water stream. So now I need to cover it up. Like so. Now we go around here. Like so. Yeah, we can close up here. You can put like a chest and for example, a trap chest and a hopper down here. Normally, no shulker box will be able to come here. I've never seen it happening, but just in case, so it doesn't despawn. If it were, because you will never really put more than 54 shulker boxes in there. But if something happens, it can go in here. The second part is you need to make sure that these gaps here are closed as well. I recommend to also to lay a line down here with glass, just to be safe. You can also, of course, use colored glass. Don't use solid blocks though, because it will cut the signal. So use just glass down here, and you can also glass this up as well a little bit. The more you have, the more secure it is, in case you break a block and you don't want to have any water running down into your redstone, which is obviously a nightmare for everyone. So yeah, make sure this is sealed off, like so. And what will happen then is, when it's done like that, we will put in a water source, and we will have some slabs as well. So we will put down water, not down here, but one up, like so. It will flow a little bit, but if that pushes out, it will flow even further. So we have 3 blocks, 6, 7, 8. So then we need the next block up here. And in order so it doesn't flow back, we need like a half slab on the top side here. And then the items will flow down here. And we need the same, I think, one more time here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It will flow up to here, basically, so it doesn't really matter. We can put up here and one water block here for the rest. So then you can also close it up so that no other items mess with your shulker part of the system, shulker box part. And that's basically it. And we need one hole here for the items to drop in, the shulker boxes. So I filled up now all droppers again with shulker boxes. So all these pistons detect that, or not the pistons, but the comparators, and the pistons react accordingly and push the This is normal that as this blocked water block doesn't get an update, it's not flowing through, but doesn't matter. The items have enough momentum to flow through here. And so this is not completely full. Let's see if the distribution again works. I also recommended to try it again. So until really everything works evenly and smoothly. It's a little bit error prone, that part, and a little bit tricky to get it smooth running. And it's very important to get that working perfectly before we move on to the next sections. The next section will be up here. So we will build where the shulker boxes come in. We will build like a small dropper tool which will delay the droppage of shulker boxes in here, so it's getting horizontally distributed. And let's see, this seems to work fine. I'm wondering why this. Alright, okay, this was incorrect. That's why I probably have another error in here. Yep, there we go. So I need to point in here. What looks good so far. Yeah, they are getting deployed. Okay, now we will build the input for the shulker boxes. So it's straightforward. I started already, but I got the dropper one too low. Let me remove that. So dropper here, basically, and then you can pile up to your shulker box storage, or maybe water stream, or also mix in between droppers if you want in a chain to reduce resource needs. Okay, so then we basically take the output from here, and basically what we did here is like an 8 tick clock, 2 repeaters on 4 tick each. So let's do that. So 4 ticks and 4 ticks, and we need redstone dust here, and we need to power this. So the other part is basically is we need another output here, and we need to detect when this is empty, because this is basically the signal when we can start to because when this is empty, basically the horizontal distribution is done, and then we can start the vertical distribution and the deployment of the shulker boxes. So this is basically what we can do here. So we go up here and yeah, put a torch. Then I need to look always a little bit over there, as it's a monostable circuit with torches. Don't do them so often actually. Let's have a quick look. So it goes up, and then torch and repeater on 3 ticks. So this is torch up, and here, and a repeater on 3 ticks, and then we need to take that output simply here, and then we torch that down. Yeah, okay, so then we torch it down, then we take a different block, and so if we want, for example, now to deploy, let's say we can put down like a chest temporarily up here, and you can take shulker boxes and you can make it even a double chest. And the system should be able now to distribute them as well as then deploy the shulker boxes. Okay, I think I've done an error in here. Ah yeah, this needs to be on comparator mode, and also importantly your shaft, drop shaft, needs to be closed, of course. Okay, so for the next part we want to put in the pistons that really give us back the shulker boxes later on. So very important here is that we, on this side basically, on the left side from here, we have sticky pistons with an air block for now. Then we will a regular piston here directly, then use a sticky piston again, regular, sticky, and regular. This is important that we have enough room in between here later on. Okay, so sticky pistons. And here you can already put in a brown block. It's later up for the cleanup phase. Down here I'll leave that open because we can still walk in and out for now. And we basically need a sticky piston, a normal piston, I mean, on this side, and it's also one more in. So this is directly at the dispenser, and this has one block in between. Again, we can leave out the top two basically to be able to still walk down here for more modifications later on. But eventually, of course, each dispenser has to have like a piston next to it. I will do this now for all three modules. So as you can see here now, every dispenser has now a piston next to it. Now we need to power the pistons. In order to power the pistons, we come down here, basically where the brown wool is next to it. And now we put in a redstone dust, observer, redstone dust, observer, redstone dust, observer, redstone dust, observer, and redstone dust. And we do this for this one, which is attached to the extra block as well. So we come down here, so redstone dust, observer, redstone dust, observer, redstone dust, observer, and so on up to here. Then in the air pockets in between here, diagonally we place in a solid block. We will do the same here. So every second one will be a solid block. And here we observer up again. Let's see if the first one was correct. I think it was not. Yeah, the first one was incorrect. Sorry for that. This needs to be, of course, here next to the piston. So that's basically it. Now we can, as we do here, into each of them we have a block in front of it, and then go out by 2 and have line. So basically we have a block in front of it, then come out by 2, basically have a line down here, which then comes in again as well, and one up. And we can, first one again is a little bit different. So then here, can do that on 4 ticks, as we have here. And, yeah, the outer layer is missing on the other side. That's true. Let's do that real quick as well. So we come up here. Like so. Again, 4 ticks, and a little bit of redstone dust down here, the line. Okay, we can leave it so. If we use a button now, it should be able to dispense or to remove our shulker boxes again. Let's see. So up here, put in the stopper as well, so you can place your stuff in, because as soon as the items will run through, of course it will start. But I've now placed in a few. They will be dispensed, then distributed, deployed. It's not a full stack this time. Then I can try the pistons. Alright, now that we are basically done with the deployment of the shulker boxes, we can continue with the sorting system itself. For that already I have some droppers, some hoppers, and some regular blocks in my inventory. I placed also some shulker boxes here, so it will be easier for me to put in all the hoppers. So you have to put in now 1 hopper on each shulker box, so the full array. And I will finish that afterwards. And also on these pistons here, we have to tower up like a dropper tower. And this needs to go up as well. And basically we also need here, before the brown as well, another dropper tower. I'll finish that now. Okay, this is done now. So make sure this is even up here. The droppers go up to here for now. Then we have the hoppers down here. The hoppers start one earlier. The droppers start here on the piston and on the same height here. Yeah, maybe you have a look. So you can build it as well like that. Okay. Then what we need to do here up here is on the same height as this furnace here. We need to bring over this to the left side, looking from behind. And the same for this entrance here. Now this should never be, this following spot should never be powered, but it's still good to point it into the other dropper, so just in case you accidentally power it, the items don't get lost or anything. The same here, let's put that as well. Like that, like that. So this way, so these point in here and these point in here. And for down here, we will finalize this with more hoppers, so that the hopper chain comes in here and puts it into that dropper. And we also have an exit basically here. You can come out a little bit. This is basically all the unsorted items will come here. And you can put it like that. And then you come down here as well and connect that. Here, come over, connect that, connect that. And this will be your input basically for items to be sorted. So now I will also put the droppers up here as I did here, and I'm back in a second. So that's done. Next part is we are going to put down the collection system for the shulker boxes, and we will stream it this way basically, also where they come from. That's probably also where you want to have them. And for that, basically, where we have the glass, we will come out up to here, down to the piston, and we need to make sure, because on the water, on the ice will be the water, that we cover each side up with a solid block so the water can't flow out. So pistons are fine here, but we need one more solid block here. And we will do this now up to the end. So we basically on that height here we will come with packed ice. I also recommend beneath this glass block to put an additional glass block as well, just in case you accidentally power this piston with a 1 tick delay and the glass ends up here, that you don't have running water down here. It shouldn't happen in theory, but we will keep building on redstone parts on here. It's just wise to do that, just to cover it up, just in case down here. Apart from that, yeah, again, closing up the water part here, just double checking that no water can get out. On this side, this looks fine. We need to double check the other side. Okay, yeah, still next to the water stream, stuff is missing, so the water can't go out. And then we are basically done. I recommend to go out here a little bit more. Let's go like that for now. Okay, then we basically have to cover that, is fine, but from here on we have to cover it again. You can already place down a hopper here for collection later on. So yeah, before we put in the water, really double check that no water can flow out. That's important. Then for basically placing it, we destroy basically the blocks next to the pistons, and we will basically place here between the second piston. We basically put down the solid block, double checking that everything is sealed off, looks good, and then we place water down here. Now we basically put back that hopper, and we can put back these blocks and have one side already floating the water. Now we repeat that process, so it's always between the second hopper here, and we will put down one in the end, one water stream here, so we can actually yeah, walk in from here. Do the same. Let's get rid of those again. We take some water, put it in here, double checking that everything is enclosed, looks good. Put it in the corner here. All right, and build it up again, and then we just need now the last one. We did one here, and now we got one in the front. This was too low. So this is the first hopper, here's the second hopper, and beneath the second hopper we drop piston, sorry. We put down the half slab, double checking that everything is enclosed. Here seems to be a missing spot. This looks good, this looks good. And then we can place the water, and we place back one piston and our lock up to close it up. And this looks good already, this is fine. Yeah. Okay, then the part is done as well. I also recommend here to close this up a little bit, that no other items can drop in here, or a mob can go in here and steal some items of you from you. That's always wise to do. So what I added now is an item elevator here, right at the end. I used the silent one. You can basically pick also any different one. You can also use a glass elevator if you believe in them. I found at least that glass elevators are not 100% reliable. They are very reliable, but not 100%. So for the shulker boxes, I use classic dropper elevator. And I just stream it back into that shulker box chest here, which is now full and it's locked. You can of course guide this wherever you want, wherever your chest is. I don't build this now. You can look into the world save if you want to build exactly that one, but I doubt that you build that house. I guess probably somewhere in the base, or maybe it's even on the side where you have your shulker boxes. So I just stay with this now for now, but it's just showing the principle. And yeah, I will now deploy the shulker boxes and see if all come back. Back in a second. Okay, 2 more additions basically. I put in an additional repeater here, so the signal can go up to the end when I manually trigger this piston extension, so that I get back the shulker boxes. The second thing I noticed is basically that we have to close up our shafts here where the shulker boxes are in. So we have to close it up, otherwise there's a chance that when these extend, that the shulker box will not fall into the middle, but will actually drop off here. And to prevent that, you have to have like a block in here, as well as this one, and close this one as well here. Furthermore, basically what I did is because I tend to forget to activate this lever, and then shulker boxes come up and then they right away go into the system again, and I don't want that to happen. I just want to restart the system with the button push. I basically added this contraption here. So basically I take the output from the chest, invert it with a torch, and then I have 2 torches basically almost facing each other, with the line going up here and here. It's a small memory cell. And then I have the output here with 4 ticks delay going into that hopper beneath the chest. So I keep locking it unless I have started with the button the process. And the button basically goes in here and also up to that torch as well. So what happens now if I push the button? This powers this now, the torch goes off, and this goes off as well, and the hopper unlocks, and all items will be drained out. I put in also a little bit of a buffer here, so that we don't get a batch stacking up here. When the hopper is locked, this hopper needs to be empty, and this can be achieved with an additional chest here, or if your hopper chain is long enough, then stacking up is never really a problem and you don't need it. So these are the 2 additions, and yeah, I'll deploy now all shulker boxes again and see if they can come back. Okay, all shulker boxes were deployed now. I will manually basically trigger the pistons again and see if the shulker boxes come back. So they come down here now, come up to the elevator, and should be collected again in a second. So this looks good so far. So maybe showing you the circuit also one more time, which I used to make this flush with a button press. Okay, looks good. And all are back. Very good. Yeah, so I push the button now to deploy them again, and which will drain them out. And we can start with the next section. Alright, for that next bit, I will take some orange color, because this is now the main phase, basically, where we do with the actual sorting. So then we come on the two out of the lowest dropper here, so not the piston, but here the dropper, two out, and we will place one repeater on one tick here, and then we go diagonally. So we go two out here, again place one repeater on one tick here, and diagonally here a torch, diagonally here a torch, and then we two out here again, two out here again, so it snakes up like that. On the other side, basically, we do the same here, so we need the same here. Then basically come two out here, again one in, then a torch here, basically, and then we come down here, and a repeater here, and we snake it up like that. So, and we repeat that up to the top for all modules. Okay, so I basically finished all of that. Just also giving you a look from the top here. So these don't have like a direct input anymore. Make sure that this is the last one, which is also powering this one. And this doesn't need any power because the hopper is below, which will suck it in. So this is how the top looks. And this is basically how it up to the bottom looks. I started already with some additional blocks now with yellow. So we do one more row here beneath that hopper, and locking that hopper with also one tick, as we did before here and here. Just the only difference is that these torches go straight and they are not snaked anymore. And then we have one down here, one more down here for the same. And basically then we come out here with the signal for those torches and collect them along the way. And I will repeat that now for all of these modules. Just one word of advice. While you're building this, the piston here temporarily becomes butt powered. For example, right now it's butt powered, and it may extend like this, as you can see. And you cannot run the system while this is in that stage, because shulker-boxes will fall through here into that gap here in between, and they will not be taken up by the water stream. So what you can do is basically, once we are done, they will not be butt powered anymore. And when we are ready, this is all powered basically here. And so they are not butt powered anymore, but they are still extended because they didn't get any update or anything. So just while building it, once we are done with all these connecting parts, they are powered. Just make sure before you start the system one time that these are in, and you can do that, for example, with a button here. And then when you run the system, they are constantly in the right position, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. But just while building it, because you're placing blocks and torches here, they become suddenly butt powered for a short amount of time. Okay, I've finalized now the other modules. Okay, I finalized this now on each side. It's very good now to give it a double check. If you look into each repeater one more time, that it's really on one tick, that not accidentally anything is on a different tick. I also attached this temporary clock here, just so all the signals come down here. So just 4 ticks, and I will place a torch now. This will start clicking noises, of course, but it will help me to see if everything ticks in the same speed, and if any torches are missing or anything. I will do a quick check here, just to see if it works. I'll go back a little bit. I'll monitor like every horizontally, see if everything looks fine, that we don't have any errors in the tick speed anywhere with all the block placements we did. Looks good, so we can continue to the next phase. Okay, now I put in the proper clock that we will also use later. So this is again our connection here, and right in the middle of all these sections here, we put in repeaters, one on 4 ticks, one on 3 ticks. Behind it, just 2 redstone dusts and redstone torch, which is basically connected up here. So if I remove that really quick, you will see that the clock will start ticking again. Then one above, and just here there will be a redstone torch, which will trigger basically that we can start and stop the clock running, and there's a redstone dot right on top of it, and we will continue like that. We will basically run the comparator input in here, which is later on attached to a small clock, and I will show you the section now in a second. Okay, we continue now. We build, put down a regular piston here, don't do a sticky pistons, then one block of air, then we put down a redstone block. Here will be our next sticky piston, normal piston, sorry, just use a normal piston, so they can push into each other, and then we will place on top here hoppers. Just make sure they are facing into each other, like so they are looking into each other. And then we will basically, what starts the system is basically when the first item flows in here into our dropper, then we will start the clock running, and we will do so that we take the check if there's any item in the dropper, and we take a comparator output here and basically connect it up. Just make a signal strength increase, maybe it's so it's can reach actually the piston here, and this will push the piston over and the redstone block over, and this will basically make items flow into that hopper from this one, because that one is locked then, and the comparator will detect it. We just need to place a solid block here so the comparator can detect it through the systems. So what I recommend here is to put 2 stacks and then about 50 items in here. This will help to really, from a time perspective, flush the system. So when the last item comes in here, that it really has the time to find the right shulker-box or to go into our chest where we couldn't sort it. And it's even more important for that sorting system that it's really flushed, that we don't have any items in there anymore, because with each additional run, shulker-boxes position switch. So if an item is stuck here and the right shulker-box is here, then normally for the regular sorting systems, then it's just a question of time, and then the next run the item will go over and then find the right chest. But the next run, the same shulker-box may be over here, as they are randomly assigned, and it's very important therefore that we also flush the system. So that's why we have given here enough time. If you don't care about every now and then items that they are not sorted, you can also decrease that number of items in here, but I recommend it to completely flush the system. You can also put in some blocks on top that there's nothing falling in here. Yeah, if you believe in it, it may also be increase the performance a little bit to cover up hoppers like that with containers. Okay, let's see what we have next. Okay, so next up, we basically come down here. And one more. So we lay a line next to the piston basically up to here. Let me check, is that correct? Yes, that is correct. And we place a block up here. So basically what we can do now is cover that up. And this will be on 3 ticks. And what we will do further down here is that we basically take an output from this hopper here. We measure it with a comparator, and then we send the signal down. So we send the signal down and then use a torch to further send it down. Now as we have inverted it, we need to do that the opposite. So we come here, so this will go down here, the signal, and up here, and then we have a torch directly under the piston. So this is basically just an AND, so that basically the system will wait until all items are at least once run through one to each hopper, and basically then if everything's empty as well, then this is the second signal, and if both conditions are met, basically it retracts. So the first condition is really just there so that if there's a small amount of items, then that we still have the full time delay for them to run through. In bigger batches it doesn't matter, because that redstone block will go over here, and everything will be filled up here, and this will be empty, but this is an additional check. So now we have that, and let's see where we can continue. Alright, almost done. So this is basically the initial state with the red block here, redstone block here, and once this is empty, it's also signaling the end of the sorting. And so this signal comes down here, and we will take another output basically also to trigger our pistons to bring back the shulker boxes, which we have done so manually at the moment. So come down here and go up down here, and we will bring that down here. So this cannot connect, so you need to have a block here so they don't connect up. And then you come down here basically, and you move around. So on the height of that piston basically we take a sticky piston and put that into the ground, and put a brown block on it, for example, a solid block, and we take a redstone output here with 4 ticks, and this as well, and we put in, this was not necessary here, you can add like any block here, like that. I will also make it pretty here, use the right colors, and I'll be back in a second. Small correction here. This part needs to go out one more block. Sorry for that. I hope you can quickly correct that as well. And it needs to go in here. And I started already on the next bit. So what I did basically is coming out of that block, which we have already, one block, and then split it like that, and then have 2 on the bottom here as well. So what this will do is, this is a signal basically coming from the initialization when all shulker boxes are deployed. It's coming in here, and we take that out to basically allow the system, and 2 ticks, start sorting. And then we basically use the end signal to reset the system already, so it can be run the next time again. So what happens here is now this hopper is locked, no items can flow into the system. Once initialization is done, a signal comes through and will delete that torch. And let me double check if that is correct. Yeah, that's correct. Exactly, and once this is off, signal comes in, the power will turn this torch on, off, this torch on, and it will lock it again. So after sorting is finished, then this stops flowing items in here, which will also stop the clock on that side. Alright, so this is done basically, and we are really close to be done for the whole system. We just need now to bring the signal over to the other side. So the now I need to be fast here. This doesn't need to be glass. And let's break that here. And let's be fast here as well, so the water doesn't flow out. So I just need to bring that over. Exactly, yeah. So this is now the off signal, and it will trigger basically the pistons, and it will also reset basically the item flow in and also lock that hopper, and it will thereby also stop the clock. All right, good. Let's see what we have left. So we are basically there. So what I will do now is just add like one more chest down here. These are the items which were not able to be sorted. They come out here. I put just a chest down here for now. You would probably need some kind of item elevator or maybe a dropper system to put it into water stream to get it back into your base. I don't build anything here now, but it's really just your output here and where you need to get it. And then let's go on the other side. Also, this was the input chest here. So what you can do here is just to put in one chest as well, then put another hopper up on top here. It's also very good that you can basically put in some buffer here already. As I said, you want to run the system in batches, so you can stack up some buffer items in here, like that, for example. So you can fill it up. These will not flow into the system, but once the system is started, the shulker boxes are deployed, that will be unlocked, and then the items can flow through, fully be sorted, and the remaining items which couldn't be sorted will be found in that chest. And again, I will also not go on from here on because I don't know where your input will be. Also, is this maybe multiple farms coming in from the side of flows where you put your items in, and also yeah, you can also have a look at the world safe if you want to build such a house with like a one double chest input only. I don't think one double chest will be enough if you are at this stage of the game with so many shulker boxes and materials, and you will probably want something more, like so you can stack up like a big silo here. Good, that's basically it. I will just yeah, run through one more time through the system, show you how it works, and yeah, thanks for watching. And if you have any comments, yeah, feel free to drop them via YouTube. I'm happy to hear if you have success with that build as well, if you have any ideas on improvements. Yeah, thanks a lot, and see you. Bye bye. All right, let's start. You still can't get enough. Let's have a look. So item drain out. Once it's empty, this one, so this draining up here is empty. This will simply lock the hopper again. So the next time items come in, they don't just flow through. So it locks this hopper, and so it will make it available push via button. Once this is empty, it will also give the signal down. But at the moment it's not empty. That means shulker boxes are distributed horizontally, as you can see. Once they are distributed horizontally, the signal goes down here, and the signal goes down here, pushing that one down, deactivating the torch and activating that clock. That clock will start our piston tapes. The piston push up, right, down, and left, and up again. All three modules simultaneously. the redstone block will make sure that the hopper is locked in the right moment of time when the item is released, so that each of these droppers behind them will get exactly one shulker box. And after that, the piston tape comes around on the internal side, which we can't see right here, and make sure that the droppers are powered with that redstone block, which goes around and will deploy the shulker boxes. So this is now complete here. So what we will see now here is the shulker boxes or the piston tape running. Let's have a look inside, and you will see that each of the dispensers gets exactly one shulker box. Then the system comes back on the other side, and the piston tape comes back on the other side, and will deploy each chest individually. Then on the left hand side we have our regular sorting system, which you can find basically everywhere. Once this is done, and we detect this done, is if that redstone block is back up here, we basically split the signal. One is basically pushing up that piston again to reset the system for the next run, but also the second part is basically triggering that torch that unlocks that hopper, and items are flowing in now because it's readily prepared. So items flow in now from our chest, as you can see here, and they are sorted into our shulker boxes. I'll fast forward that in a bit, and so we see the final stage. Okay, the system has been running for a while. It should be done soon, as indicated by the red block, which was pushed over there. We should soon see a signal coming down here, the brown line, for cleanup. An additional note as well, you can put up light sources up here. The shulker boxes are coming back. Like bright light sources down here that should reduce the amount of lightning updates if you want to do that. Yeah, now the shulker boxes are coming back up. Let's see if they're all in here. Looks good so far. There they are, and everything is sorted. Thanks again. Take care.